Welcome to this explainer of Chapter 5 of Ariel M. Cisney's book, Majesty in Monotony. Today, we're tackling something that makes a lot of people break out in an absolute cold sweat: math. Or maths. Or mathematics, depending on where you're tuning in from. Honestly, it really doesn't matter what you call it, because the numbers behave exactly the same way. The whole point of this explainer is to make math way less intimidating, give it the respect it actually deserves, and show you why understanding its story is basically the master key to understanding the universe and, your own bank account.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's time for a little tough love reality check, straight from the author. Why exactly does your fear of math keep you broke? Well, a massive chunk of the population actively avoids numbers just because they find them scary or, let's be real, boring. But here's the stark truth from the source material. Avoiding numbers directly leads to a leaky budget and a life of financial struggle. The author points out that an astonishing number of Americans literally don't even have $1,000 saved up for an emergency. Why? Because lazy math leads to endless debt. If you slack off on your math studies and refuse to look at the numbers in your own life, you really can't be surprised when you wind up broke, grinding away at a dead-end job, or having to rely on a universal basic income just to survive.
Section 1. The Lexicon of Nature. A Cosmic Perspective. Before we can fix our earthly wallets, we actually need to zoom way out to the macro scale. Cisney states perfectly, math is the language of cold, hard logic, the lexicon of nature. So the crucial point is that math is not just some bunch of arbitrary rules your high school teacher made up to torture you. It's the universal tongue of the cosmos. It is the language that every single nation on Earth shares. Through math, we are fundamentally fluent in the exact same logical framework that is capable of describing the mass of black holes, the orbits of galaxies, and the life cycle of the stars themselves.
To prove just how mind-blowing this language is, let's consider the concept of pi for a second. Pi is an infinite number that literally never repeats. Because of that infinite random sequence, if you were to convert the numbers in pi into letters and words, it would contain every password you've ever created, the name of everyone you will ever meet, and your entire life story, from birth to death, perfectly encoded inside the mathematics of a single continuous circle. The universe's ultimate complexity can be perfectly encapsulated in math. Honestly, no wonder pi gets his own holiday, right?
That brings us to one of the greatest philosophical questions of the natural world. Did we invent math, or did we discover it? The author highlights that humans use the parietal lobes, right in the middle of our brains, to process numbers, which suggests it's deeply ingrained in our biology. Yet the universe was perfectly following mathematical laws billions of years before the first hairless ape ever even walked the earth. We're really just unraveling the mysteries of a system that has always been there.
Section 2. Math's Epic Human Story. Growing with Civilization.
To really make math easy to digest, we gotta look at its story, because it evolved directly alongside human civilization. Math basically started as a pure survival tool. In prehistory, we see tally marks etched onto bones in the Congo, just to keep track of basic resources. As populations grew, well, so did the math. In antiquity, the Egyptians used geometry to optimize their agriculture and, of course, collect taxes. By the 1st century, the Romans were using numbers to organize massive centuries of centuries marching off to battle. But the real game changer, that happened in the Middle Ages, in Arabia, India, and China, with the invention of the modern numeral system.
And the absolute crown jewel of that era was the invention of zero, the mathematical concept of true nothingness. Paradoxically, introducing the idea of nothing allowed humans to calculate everything, from infinitely small quantum particles all the way up to the infinitely large expanse of the cosmos. Now here's a wild historical fact, straight from the book. When the Arabic numerals containing zero first made their way to Europe, Italian cities and the Catholic Church actually tried to ban them. Yeah, they totally mistrusted this complete overturn of their primitive mathematics.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive leap humanity took. Just think about Roman numerals for a second. They were clunky, imperial, and really only useful for counting marching armies and tangible goods. You definitely couldn't use them to study the dawn of time. Contrast that with Arabic numerals, dynamic, flexible, fully embracing the concept of zero, and serving as the ethereal glue that unlocked infinite cosmic calculations. Adopting this system drove human prosperity, technology, and global economics to staggering new heights.
Section 3. Basic Maths, Big Wealth. From the cosmos to your wallet.
All right, now that we've seen how math literally mapped the stars, let's zoom back down to the micro level.
The author points out that we absolutely do not need complex mathematics, like quantum computing or calculating black hole mass, to succeed in life. What we actually need is basic math. We're talking simple addition, subtraction, basic budgeting, and just having the discipline to save $1,000 in cash so an unexpected emergency doesn't put you out on the street. Basic math is entirely enough to escape the rat race.
Because here is the core warning of the chapter. If you're lazy with your math, you are gonna end up in endless debt. Ignoring the numbers causes leaky budgets, where your money just vanishes into thin air. The author states plainly that if you slack off, you might wind up relying on something like universal basic income just to scrape by. But if you apply basic mathematical discipline to your life, you build independent wealth. It's not emotional, it is just math.
Consider this truly shocking number: 1 cent. 1 penny. According to the source material, because of rapid money printing and inflation, a dollar from 1971, which is when the US was taken off the gold standard, is worth less than a penny today in purchasing power. You simply cannot outwork a system that prints money faster than you can earn it if you don't understand the math behind it. This is exactly why financial literacy is absolutely mandatory. So how do we use this universal language to actually win? Well, here are the actionable steps derived right from the author's own life experience. Step 1. Track your expenses and cut out the luxuries today. You've got to sacrifice the immediate gratification. Step 2. Stack that money and actively invest it in assets that beat inflation. Step 3. Let the beautiful maths and mathematics of compound growth do all the heavy lifting, doubling your money over time. It is the ultimate pendulum swing from sacrifice to true financial independence.
Section 4. Continue the cosmic journey. Where do we go from here?
So how do we integrate this cosmic perspective into our everyday lives? The text offers a really profound reminder here. There isn't a thing in the known universe as complex as that organ in between your ears. The universe is vast and infinitely apathetic, but your brain, a tiny piece of the universe made from the core of dying stars, has the capacity to contemplate its own existence, understand the language of mathematics, and completely change your financial destiny. You already possess the ultimate tool.
Mathematics isn't your enemy. It's the very foundation of your freedom. If you're ready to stop being intimidated by numbers, master the universe, and completely fix your trajectory, then I highly encourage you to dive deeper. Click the link in the description to check out Majesty and Monotony for yourself, or simply keep the momentum going and watch the next chapter explain it right here. The cosmic language is waiting for you. So, are you ready to finally speak it?